Hey, welcome to the first video that you'll watch for graphic design. This one, I'm going to try to keep real short here. I just want to show you how to kind of use a Mac in case you never have, and some of the problems and common questions we get beginning of the year. First thing, it obviously didn't happen to you today because you're already on the computer, but sometimes you may have trouble actually logging into your account to get onto the computer to get to the point where we're at now, where I'm on this home screen. If that ever happens to you, chances are that caps lock is on your keyboard. That's kind of a common thing. So whenever you're going to log in, just make sure caps lock not on, otherwise your password won't work. Down here, this is our dock. That's what they call this on a Mac. It's sort of like on a regular Windows PC, how you have the different icons to click on to get to a program. Same deal here. If we go to a random program here, now I'm in Illustrator. At the top, the way that I can tell what program I'm in, next to the apple, it'll show what program I'm in. So for example, if I make a new document here, and I hit OK, if I make this a little bit smaller, so this will make a little more sense to you, and I just have this floating over here. If I click on the background, the menu at the top says Finder. It doesn't say Illustrator. So even though I'm looking at Illustrator in the center of my screen, the menu up top has nothing to do with Illustrator. You won't be able to do some of the things that you're trying to using this menu. But instead, as soon as I click on this, if you notice next to the apple, it instantly ships back to Illustrator. All of these objects now are related to that program, to Illustrator. So that's important because Finder, what that's for is all your basic computer stuff, and then each individual program will have its own set of menus at the top. So if you hear me say go to Window and try to find something, well, if you're going to Window and Finder, you're going to have a completely different set of options than you do when you're in Illustrator and you go to Window. Right? So that's kind of an important thing. You may be looking at one program, but that doesn't mean that's the program that you're currently in. And that's tough to get used to if you've never used a Mac, but you'll get there. It's easy enough. Other things to know, just to kind of make your life a little easier in class, you are allowed to customize the dock at the bottom to fit your needs. So if there's a program that you know you're not going to use, you can right click on it and go to Options, and you would be able to pick Remove from Dock if you didn't want that there. You can also just drag it away to get rid of it. If there's a program that you're using a lot that's not in your dock, same deal. Once you open the program, it'll be in your dock temporarily. If you were to close the program, it would disappear. You can right click, do Options, and tell it to keep in dock. And that'll kind of take care of that for you. Another thing that's kind of annoying to you guys when you first start in here, whenever you make a new account for these computers, which we recently did for you guys, in the settings, it automatically makes it so that the mouse, the scrolling wheel you're going to find is kind of like opposite of what you're used to, upside down. And if you don't like that, what I did here is I went to System Preferences. It looks like a gear. A couple ways I can get there. That icon may be in your dock. You could also go to Apple, and it's one of your first choices. And once you're in System Preferences, basically use your common sense here, get what you would need to. So in this case, we're trying to change something with the mouse. I go to Mouse, and I can do scroll direction is probably set to be natural right now for you guys. You can just uncheck that, and it'll be like you're used to being. And you can also just kind of adjust any of this other stuff here that you want. You can also, if you're in this part, if the brightness of the computer bothers you, that can happen on your keyboard. You could also do that from here, I believe, in Display. Yeah, there it is there. So you can see I can adjust that from there. And anything else that you think you need to adjust, that would happen here. As far as finding files on the computer, again, a little bit different than a PC. If you go to Go Computer is an easy way to get there. You can use in your dock Finder. All of these things will bring up the same kind of thing where you get to these menus where you can see different files. So depending on where I go in here, in the sidebar there's going to be different favorites saved in here. If I want to get to the documents on my computer, if that's saved in the sidebar, I can just click on that, and here they are here for the ones on this computer. There are also on a Mac different ways of looking at the files, and that happens up top here. This is really good to know. If you want to see icons, a list, this type of list where when you click on one, the subfolder goes to the right. You can kind of see how that's working. And then also if you're doing something more graphic, you can use this view. Now if we look at a better folder for this, let's go back here and try to find something where there would be some more picture type things. So there you go here. So now you can see previews, and if I make this bigger, it'll be even easier to see. As I go through the different files in this view, I can see what they look like. So that's really helpful. Alright, so those are your different views. You can get to this gear to get to some different settings. You can change the color of files if that helps you for whatever reason. Like if I tag that as a certain color, it gives it a little dot. So you can tag all certain kind of files a certain color. For some reason that makes things any easier on you. Other than that, if you're ever looking for a file, you can search for it. So if I know I'm looking for something called Illustrator, obviously there's a bunch of them here for me. But if I had a specific file, I could search for it. If I was not in this program, I can also search at the top right-hand corner. And let's say I needed to find a calculator. It can pop up with the program, and it can also pop up with different documents and things that are on the computer. So that search is great to know about. All right. That is some of the basic things and just kind of like how Mac works, what's a little bit different than maybe you're used to. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll go over anything with you that you need.